Hey,
What's up, family?
what's going on, brother?
Just thriving. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling good, feeling well, feeling swell. Let me know if I'm coming in clear. Can you hear? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can. You looking good. You looking clear.
Is
The audio is good. Where you at?
is crystal?
That's a nice little wall behind you.
Is crystal clear for you?
It's crystal clear.
Awesome, man. We at this place called Black Rock.
Black Rock.
Black Rock, yeah, Black Rock over here in Live Oak, Texas, man, San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonio. Yeah, that's a nice wall. I like that wall in black. Is that like different paints splattered?
Yeah, it does look like one of them Action Jackson, like one of them Jackson Pollock paintings or something. Yeah, it does kind of look like that.
Yeah, it looks good. But good to see you, family.
You good to see you too, bro. Great to see you. Great to be seen. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's been
yeah.
a minute. It's
This
been a
like
minute.
interview number what? 20, 15?
It's been a minute, bro. But we've been going at it. You've been traveling, bro. You've been on your journeys, your world traveling. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I've been traveling a lot. I thought after the year started, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna slow down on traveling, and then yeah, it's already been a couple journeys already. Yeah, we went to Miami and Portland so far. That
So
was
Portland
yeah.
was the latest. What's been the latest and the greatest?
Well, last weekend we went to Portland.
Okay.
This weekend chilled out here. I was just working, doing massage. Last weekend went to Portland. My friends were doing the show out there, and then we had a event out there. And so I went and seen my friends' event, and then we also did an event, and so it was also pretty good. It was pretty good.
Dope,
Yeah.
man. What's been one of the highlights? What's been one of the things that really continue to inspire you, continue to fuel you, and just allow you to continue on this path?
Mm, I guess seeing what I'm doing now and knowing the previous years of like work, you know what I mean? Like I've been a part of events and throwing events and just doing shows and getting booked for shows and booking shows myself for years now. And so just seeing all the growth from like, the earlier years of doing it. And this is still the early years, but it's just like, just doing it now and having the experience and knowing how to readjust quicker and knowing how to move better each time. And so now it's at a point to where like it's normalized in my head, and so now it's just becoming only more efficient and greater each time, and the experience is doubling, so it's like I'm getting more experience in how to make this a more efficient and effortless and just in flow type of travel situation. So I really just been looking at the events themselves. The journey itself has really been the highlight. Like, wow, I'm really doing it like way better than I was. Like I remember when I was manifesting this, you know what I mean? Like I remember when I was just visualizing, okay, this is what I'm gonna be doing. So yeah, that's some of it.
I love it. I love it, man. You said it's been doubling. You've been hitting triple doubles out here. Triple
Yeah.
doubles.
Yeah. We've been on the field, on the court.
You know what I'm saying? That stuff it got a triple double,
Hmm.
So when it comes to manifesting, for those who don't know, because you talk a lot about affirmations and you let
Hmm.
people know, saying affirmations, speaking affirmations, writing affirmations, hearing affirmations, and what's been something that has already manifested that years ago, like was just in your mind. Like you said, you were visualizing, you were speaking. What's something that's already happened that you were like, wow, like I can't believe this is already, you know?
Wow. Okay. So, um, one of the things is the traveling, like traveling, doing shows, like going on tour. When I first started throwing events, like shortly after throwing my first months and months after throwing my first few events and just keep on going, I would always think like, yo, I want to go on tour. That's nice. I didn't have on my vision board, many things that refer to like either performing or doing events on tour and all around in other cities. That's been one thing that's manifested. Another thing that's manifested is the way I move in LA now. You know what I mean? Like slowly but surely been getting, not, it doesn't even seem slow, it's just everything is in divine timing, but I've just been getting things I've been manifesting over the years. Like I remember wanting to work for myself for massage, you know, and now that's like a couple years in, I've been, it's a normal, you know what I mean? I remember even times when, you know, something as simple as just when my car broke down in LA, and wanting a car to move around easier so that I could even like get to these steps where I'm at now, you know, as far as like working for myself and being able to continue to create while working. Good that I have received a call. But yeah, so I have been manifesting these things in my life that I have right now. Every single thing that I'm living right now is a manifestation, like an intentional manifestation, not just like a effect of like, you know, just letting myself float in reality. Like my whole reality right now has been manifested, you know, and now it's just about like fine tuning. But the touring and the traveling is one of the bigger ones that I've like caught in, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I love it, man. You know, it's funny, just now you said sunrise. When you swiped on the screen, you said, you know, can you hear me? Like I had received a call, you
Yeah.
know? And, and you know, they say like many are called, but few are chosen, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
it's like sometimes you choose yourself. Like somebody said, and I know you probably heard this, brother, but somebody said it's not for the chosen few, but for the few who choose.
Mm.
The
Mm.
few who choose. And how do you feel like on one end you received the calling, you know,
Mm.
you were called, you received the call, but
Yeah.
on the other hand, you chose this. Like this is the life you chose, you know,
Mm.
deliberately.
Okay, that's deep. That's deep. Okay. Okay. See that last sentence finalized the picture that you were painting for me. Okay. Definitely a combination of both. I feel like the call is the call is like um a recipe. It's like an ingredients. It's like an ingredients list. It's like a recipe, but getting presented to you. And then the choosing is like you actually cooking and deciding if that's what you want to cook. So like for example, like even before I even got out to LA, like I had a calling, like, and to me the calling is like is it could be inspiration, it could be an intuitive download, all of that, you know. But I had a calling to go out in LA, you know what I mean? But that was like what I was hearing, what I was feeling at that time. But it took for me to actually put in the work and like lay out the plans and actually choose to do what I needed to do to actually make that calling happen. Because we can have multiple callings, you know what I mean? Well, maybe not so much multiple callings. Maybe we feel, maybe we can have multiple callings. But what I'm saying is, there are many roads in life where you could go, right? And then I feel like your soul, your into the energy, the inner you is always like, it has like a compass. It's like trying to point you to where it wants y'all to go. And so like I feel like that's the calling, because you'll usually hear that. It's like I said, inspiration. You'll be like, oh, I want to do this because I just got a great download that I could, you know, start building this to create this to make my dreams happen. You know, that's like the calling. But that choosing is like the action and like doing what you got to do to make it happen in reality, and like, or at least just taking the physical steps and listening to that calling, you know what I mean? Because sometimes, you know, on the road of going to where you're attempting to go, you know, you hit a little bumps and bruises and you some wrong turns, all of that. But I feel like that choosing is like that thing that'll get you actually moving. Like
Yeah.
if I always say not inspiration, but activation. Like what activates you? You know what I mean? Like a lot of things can inspire you, but like what activates you? And so I feel like that choosing is when you're in that mode of activation. You're like, okay, this is what I'm about to do. Boom. And um, yeah, yeah,
That's major. That's major. You know, there's a whole chapter in Napoleon Hill's book. It's called Think and Grow Rich.
I like that
And
book.
yeah, and
Yeah,
they got the chapter, sexual transmutation, talk
yeah,
about all sorts of stuff. But then there's also a whole chapter dedicated to decision making, you know,
yeah.
actually making a decision, the activation of the inspiration, like you
Right.
were talking about. So, it's one thing, like you said, to have that calling, but it's another thing to choose that calling actively and with intention. So, there's somebody that told me, they said, like, if you don't sacrifice for your dream, then your dream becomes your sacrifice.
Mm.
And I was like, you.
You got me about to do some push-ups. I'm like, oh, that's right. That's true. I gotta make sure sacrifice. What do I gotta do? What I gotta
So,
let go?
right. So when it comes to being decisive,
Yeah.
when we talk about being decisive, making decisions, making commitments, it's almost like the root word of to be decisive, to make a commitment is like to cut off,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like Will Smith said, there was no plan B,
Yeah.
because plan B distracts from plan A, you know?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
when it comes to being decisive in that way, what would you say that you had to sacrifice to choose that calling with intent?
I've had to sacrifice number one for sure comfortability. Like in many ways, like comfortability physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, stepping out of comfort zones. That's the number one thing. I've had to sacrifice, you know, leaving a whole region where all of my family is, you know what I mean? I've sacrificed, uh, I've sacrificed, uh, fun, fun. Like there's been many times where you just are tunnel vision and you're getting to whatever your goal is, and you're just like focused on that. I've sacrificed, pleasures, food. But like these are all things that I feel it's like it's also like attached to the calling. You know what I mean? Like once you start letting the calling unfold and you start being active with it, it's like the calling also lets you know, like, yo, you might have to grow through this. You know what I mean? Just like literally just moving to LA was a major sacrifice based off of like, I grew up used to having all of my family around, or if they're not around, they're nearby, at least a couple hours away, if that, if anything. And so, like, just moving to a whole side of the country where it's just like, you got some family, but it's nowhere near as much as you're used to. That's a major sacrifice. That right there, that one factor was tough. And so, like I said, I've sacrificed having fun with friends, just staying focused. And I feel like, and the main thing I'll just say is like getting out of your comfort zone. You got to get out of your comfort zone and you got to adventure. Like when you look at movies and like TV shows, when they're on their journey to wherever they're going, it's cool watching it. But if you actually like personalize their experience in most of these adventures, you're like, bro, what they're going through is not really the most fun in real life. It's like it's fun watching it from your couch with your nice warm heater and all of that, but like the actual journey they're going through is usually is filled with a lot of toughness and sacrifice. And so it's like when you're on these goals, when you're deciding to actualize a calling, yeah, you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot, time, even sacrificing distractions, entertainment. You know what I mean? You might have to take away your Netflix or your whatever you watch. You know what I mean? Like there's many times, you know, I like anime a lot. You know, there's many times I'm like, okay, this week we got to focus up because we manifested. We're not gonna watch anime till Friday, okay? The enemy is like, bro, Friday? What? What are you talking about? And I'm like, no, we're gonna sacrifice this little entertainment time to start building. You know, we got to continue to build. You know, continue to reach the next step by step. You know, so yeah, those are some of the things: comfortability, being around family,
Mhm.
time, distractions, fun. You know, and things
Yeah,
are
thank you for,
cyclical.
it definitely is. And thank you for breaking that down, Sunrise, because, when you're talking as well about the movies and what we
Yeah,
see on the mainstream movies, cinema, television, sitcoms, or even animes, sometimes they have this thing called a montage, you know?
montage.
And
Yeah,
those montages, they have these short scenes, like maybe like 30 seconds to a minute of a whole montage of them training or them doing things and them sacrificing. And it goes by so quick that
right.
you would think that, oh, they got there fast, but that montage could have been months and
Months.
years, that have gone by in their training. So what do you feel like people underestimate about patience in your progression and also just trusting the process?
Mm. Well, I feel like what you said is the key tool that helps people trust the process, which is patience. And a lot of us, not all of us, but many of us, because of the way society is today, we lack patience. Uh, just because of the type of entertainment we have scrolling culture and like, things are instant now. But I feel like that affects, I feel like if people truly practice having patience, they will be able to enjoy and embrace, even if they can't enjoy them, but they could at least embrace their now moments when they're in their montage moment, because I've said to myself before at times when I'm like, you know, sometimes you gotta put a routine in for a couple weeks and it could get like every day doing a daily whatever you set up, it could be like, it could get kind of like dull. But I've said to myself at times like, let me just enjoy this is each day I'm getting better, each day I'm better than I was before. This is my montage moment, you know what I mean? I'm training. I'm um it's it, it reminds me of like, if you allow yourself to grow your patience, or if you practice more patience and get better in patience, it's like your montage moments are you being a home cooked meal instead of a microwaved meal. You know what I mean? A home cooked meal is like intentional. Sometimes people gotta prep before they even cook, and sometimes things gotta marinate, for a day or two, and then it might take all day to cook. You know what I mean? You want to respect your journey and have more patience, so that way you could allow yourself to marinate the right way, to cook. Maybe you got a low simmer, maybe you got to sit in the fridge for a little bit, whatever it is, just to make you more of a full complete meal instead of like an instant gratification version of you know what I mean? Because you could get through it real quick, but if you don't get whatever, like, most of the time the journey is growing and maturing your spirit to receive whatever you're looking for, because most of the time you got to be somebody different to even get to that goal you want. A lot of the times when you see that goal, by the time you get to that goal, you're not going to be the same person. And so you have to allow yourself to go through those daily changes. It might take 2 years for you to shift completely to a certain vibration or frequency or growth and development in your being to reach whatever goal you set. It may take 10, it may take 20, it may take 2 weeks. You never know. But having that patience in those moments, and growing your patience in those moments, allow you to really enjoy those times of like when it seems like, this is just repetitive, this is just simple and easy. So I think really if we just start to really practice patience through like meditation, reading, things that help, with the brain or with patience.
Great great point, bro. Because I love what you said. Like it's really reminiscent of we play chess. You know,
Every day.
we play. You see that look he gave me? You see that look?
And y'all, I'm not lying. We play chess. Me and Jerome are on the chessboard every day. I'm like, are we conditioning? We would you say iron sharp as iron?
Iron
Yeah.
sharpens iron, so we've been on the chessboard, and it teaches you a lot of patience. And sometimes you just put yourself in the position for when an opportunity does come around, you can capitalize, you can jump on it. And you actually did that the other day, and I
Nah,
called you
man, you can't be
straight.
look, nah.
I had to call you straight
Jerome,
away. I had to call you because you know what you did, bro. It was like I couldn't even
bro,
see it. I didn't even see it.
that was patience. I was for sure patient, like looking at the phone, like is he going? Looking at the phone, like I gotta,
bro,
please go my way. But
bro, you
yeah,
made a you
man,
made a move that completely like it threw my whole game off, and it was over. It was over. It was already done. But
man,
the
that's like
groundwork,
10100,
but
101. Jerome be beating me every day, y'all. You want to know what patience is? Patience is continuing to play Jerome until I win. That's
but the ground.
Jerome. I beat Jerome like once every 6 months. It's like a holiday. It's like, ooh, I beat Jerome. Every day I'm like, I'm gonna get better.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
groundwork had been laid. You know what I'm saying. The foundation was there. It was
I was,
stable.
hey, that game, I felt it too. I was serious. I was like, hold on. I think I got this one for sure. I was watching the patterns, everything. I was hyper analyzing. I was on it. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get it. We gonna be in here. We got this. We got this.
Right. And even when the opportunities came around, you still had to make the move.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So what can you say would be an example of that in your life, in your journey,
Mm-hmm.
where there was an opportunity, but if you had not made that move,
Mm.
it wouldn't have been an opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Mm. Wow. Well, last year was extremely active, fun, but extremely tough. And me deciding to go on tour, not once but twice, was actually one of those moments that shifted my life and helped me grow. And it it was one of those things where I was thinking about not going on tour because I was like sometimes you have a little second doubt in your head, that little extra voice in your head be running. But I went through with it, and because I did, the tour just set off so much because I was going to so many different, the first tour, which is last year around this time, I was going to so many different cities, meeting with so many different people, and just building the momentum around everything, the music, the trap chi. And so because of that, I was able to get booked at a couple more festivals than was planned. I wasn't planned to get booked last year on festivals. I was hoping to, but I did. And that was because of the work I put in on the tour. And then once it just kept dominoing, and then I would get to these shows, get to these festivals. You was at Disclosure Festival. That's one that I booked just off the work of the tour. And so along with Coachella, Coachella was one, and Coachella was one of the biggest festivals out, and that was like crazy. And for me, and like having that experience, and if I didn't do that tour, it wouldn't have did that. And then those festivals was like, it was like the tour was the first half of the year, then like summertime hit, then it was like festival season. We went to like 6 festivals, and then after that I went on tour again, And it was like everything domino affected off of each other, because when I got to these places, things set themselves up. And so really it's really like a video game. Like you just keep progressing on the path, and then things just pop up and blossom while you're on that journey. Because really it's just like that moment you decide to hop off the porch, or like to put it in like a bird's nest, bird's example, leave the nest, that you take that first flight out of the nest, you're gonna, your path is just gonna keep unfolding, and it's just gonna keep getting grander and grander. And so it was like last year deciding to go on tour really set off the whole year, and ended up me going on 2 different tours, 6 festivals. And now it gave me so much experience traveling, where this year now I'm learning how to move it more strategically. I've got more ideas, and I know exactly, okay, I've traveled this much. Now I know exactly what traveling is. Now I'm here. Now I know how to reestablish certain things in my foundation. Now I know how to come at it from a different angle with different experience, because of all of these moves I just made. I was activated. And so I feel like that last year was a pivotal moment for me, because now it's even giving me great ideas to where I'm working on implementing now, that's just going to continue to set up the journey and progress towards these goals. You know what I mean?
That's, man, that's a word. That's a whole message. What you just said right there. I just want to unpack that
Mhm.
because and veggie back.
Yeah, veggie back.
Veggie back off of that. Because bro, what you just said is so powerful, you know. It's almost like if you can imagine a fog, you know, and the fog is like your fear.
Hmm.
But when you go through the fog of your fear, you can find like freedom on the other side, you know, of the fog. It's hazy. You don't see anything. You can't really see where you're going.
Yeah.
But as you're going and growing and flowing, the more that you just keep walking through the fog, you start to see more. You know,
Hmm.
you take a few steps ahead, you see more.
Yeah.
You take more steps, you see more. So when you talk about, you know, paving the way of your progression with each of the actions you take, actually give you the tools that you need. It's almost like, have you ever played Zelda with Link? It
I
was a
have
game.
played Zelda, but not a lot. I've played
Okay.
Zelda though.
Well, there was a game called Zelda, and you know what I'm talking about. But he had to get so many tools, you know, to be able to even go to the boss level. You gotta, okay, you go to this temple and that cave and these caverns and these catacombs, and then you find this treasure chest, and in this you find a grapple hook. Okay,
Right.
over here you got a boomerang. Over here you
Right.
got a bomb, and then
Uh-huh.
all these tools come together and they're allowing you to get to the next level. Like each
Hmm.
time you get
Hmm.
further, you're gaining the tools, you're gaining the confidence, you're gaining the experience that is allowing you to use it, you know? So all these
Yeah.
practicals, it's practical. Yeah.
Yeah. And that experience and confidence part is a major key of the whole journey too. Just getting that experience and confidence in whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? And I feel like those veggie back off of each other. You get more experience, you get more confidence. You know, the more confident you are, most likely you're putting yourself in position to gain more experience. You know, so it's just like those are major keys in it too. And those are things like sometimes you got to work on. Sometimes you got to work on your confidence, and that's okay, you know. And yeah, but yeah, the life unfolds just like the game. You know, you get more things as you progress on your journey. You get little pop-ups, little Super Mario mushrooms and stars and stuff pop up to give you, you know, and you get challenges, you know. And so it's just like,
You know, you have your main quest, you
yeah,
know, and you
yeah,
might go on a few side quests,
yeah,
you know, a few side quests here and there, you know, a few pieces of loot here and there, but you still on the main quest, you
yeah.
know, you still get back to the mission, you know,
Uh-huh.
you never abort mission. So, you know, with sticking to the mission, with being on your purpose, and I love what you said earlier too, Sunrise, about allowing it to marinate, allowing things to slow cook, because that brings out the flavor. You
Hmm.
know, it's gonna taste even better once it's done. You know,
Yeah,
once it's ready, instead of just trying
yeah.
to microwave it and radiate it, and you want things to be fast.
Hold on
You
one
know,
second. Hold on one second.
yeah.
saying if you leave, I didn't park.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Okay.
I parked outside.
Oh, thanks. No worries.
Yep. Okay, yes.
You good? You
Let
good?
it you gotta let it slow cook, man. You gotta let it marinate. You gotta let it sit in the seasoning for a little bit before you throw it on there. You know what I mean?
These are don't just throw it on there.
Don't just throw it on there. See, that's why sometimes when I go to Whole Foods and I go to their food bar, sometimes you gotta take a little sample. You gotta take just a little sample, because you like, did y'all let this marinate? Did y'all just throw this up here like this? You know what I mean? Y'all ain't put no seasoning on it. Y'all went too fast. Y'all just went to serve up the food. You ain't put no energy, no intention. And that's your life, you know? You gotta just energy, intention, do it right, you know? Do it right.
So, you know what? Another thing, when you were earlier talking about some of the animes that you've been inspired by, what's one of the animes that you can pinpoint that has really inspired you when it comes to, you know, putting your all into your practices and really getting through the tedium? Because you said sometimes, you know, your training, it can get tedious. It can feel like you're doing the same thing over and over. But what has been like an anime that's allowed you to find the magic in the mundane? You know?
I would say in that aspect, there's a bunch, but one of the main ones where I think about characters like often when it comes to keeping the motivation in the mundane is Naruto for sure, because you got a lot of characters that just put in work just to like even be on the level to compete. Like Rock Lee ain't have no ninjutsu, no genjutsu. So that means he had to just like every day just work out and just make his taijutsu so sharp and so legit that he could be a ninja and compete in the ninja world. And so it's just like, even Naruto and Sasuke, the main characters, a lot of the characters really like their whole motivation of the village in Naruto. They're just like, you know, we're gonna make it happen. You know, no matter what kind of work we have to put in, no matter how deep we got to dig, we're gonna dig and we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna dig deep within, and we're just gonna keep on going and persevering. And even if that takes me a week, a day, a year, whatever, we're just gonna keep getting it. So for sure, Naruto and Dragon Ball Z, the Dragon Ball series, does for sure. But I really like Naruto though, because I feel like they put an emphasis on like the work that they put in, like the work that Naruto was putting in, the work that Rock Lee, Might Guy, Kakashi, all of them, they was just putting in a lot of work. So Naruto for sure. And My Hero Academia, the main character Deku, he put a lot to persevere through the mundane. And so, like, a lot of times when I'm doing my things, I think of these characters. I'm like, okay, if they can manifest this and put in the work to make this happen, you know, I can do that too.
For real,
I can
for
do
real.
whatever I'm doing.
Yes, you know, and I love what you talked about with them working with their abilities, you know, like working on what they have. Like you said with Rock Lee, all he has is taijutsu. Everybody else, they doing all the ninjutsu, the genjutsu, you know, the dojutsu. Like everybody's got all these gifts and abilities, and all he has is what he has, you know. So just working on what you have until, you know, you build it up so strong that it doesn't even matter. You
Right.
know, the odds don't matter. You know,
It don't.
you beat the
Because that
odds.
work,
Mm-hmm.
that work. He's like, it don't matter. All I need is taijutsu. We good.
Right.
We got hands.
Right. And you do got hands.
Yeah, I got hands. Okay, I got hands. Okay.
Because they do say, you know, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, you know?
Absolutely.
And when it comes to having, you know, your skills and abilities, you wouldn't even have the confidence unless you had the experience of using your gifts, using your talents. Because when we go back to circling back to striking opportunities, when the opportunity is at hand, you and I, we wouldn't have even met each other had you not taken the opportunity that you took in the crowd when it was right there upon you.
Yeah,
You
when
know?
it was time. that was a calling. I was walking around. I was hearing the calling for the cipher. I was like, what? I hear, hello? What? Where is this located? I'm like, we got to get a cipher going. And
You know, because even that in that moment, I was just beatboxing. You know, you didn't have to start freestyling. You didn't have to start rapping. I was just beatboxing, you know, but you came over. It was like a gravitational pull,
yes,
how we came together.
it
But
was.
if you hadn't embraced that moment and just went in the crowd, of people, we're surrounded by people. Dame Dash is up there on stage.
I know.
Charlemagne the God up there on stage.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
in the crowd of people, and you still was like, you went into it.
But
It was
like, it's time to rap.
you know.
See, I'm the village hidden in the sound. See, I got the bar jutsu, the bar. I got the bar jutsu, hit the jutsu, spit fire. But yeah, no, honestly, and that is like what we was talking about earlier about like callings, because you know, like music and performing is like one of my callings, and so like in that moment, you know, I'm like, I'm just feeling it. Everything. It's like my skin, my cells are like, yo, I want to rap. You know what I mean? Like, we see them rap a little bit. I'm like, oh, I'm geeked. It's like a athlete watching another athlete play the same sport that you play. It's like a professional basketball player, like on the courts, on the sidelines of another game that they're not playing. You know, you're like, dang, this is a nice game, but I want to get on the field. I want to get on the court. You know what I mean? And so in that moment, I was just like, man, I'm trying to rap. You know what I mean? I just knew I wanted to rap. And then it's funny because it's like the universe, like you said, it's like magnetism. It's like I was walking around that big crowd of people. It was so many people. And then boom, outburst the cipher. That's like astronomical. That's like some celestial, you know, like
For
Big
real.
Bang, you know, it's like Big Bang energy because
Right.
it just happened,
Right.
you know.
And that's what they call a coincidence when, you know, I think they said when two angles or two lines, like when they coincide, when they come together, that's what you call a coincidence. You know, like, so it's no coincidence, but it was where we coincided. It's where our forces collided, you know, where we came together. And, you know, the rest, as they say, is history. So, you know, going back to even when you talk about the sacrifices that you've made for the path that you've chosen, for this life that you've chosen, you know, one of them, one might say, is semen retention.
Yes.
You know, so what would you say has inspired you to let go of something that so many people, men in general, have, you know, no notions of even trying to let go? You know, like what has inspired you to hold on? I should say hold on to something that many people don't look at with that reverence or with that respect. What allowed you to say, you know what, this is something I want to protect so that I can project and have a better effect, you know?
Bars, by the way. Bars. 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 I was like, okay. He's spitting. Okay. Really with that, it's been like a journey for like 4 or 5 years, right? And it's the same as what I was talking about earlier, like the journey, once you do it more and more and you get more experience, you get more confidence, you get more knowledge, it inspires you and activates you more, right? And so honestly, the semen retention journey has been, for me, like 4 or 5 years, but not 4 or 5 years of straight, you know what I mean, just holding semen. I mean the full awareness of it. Like I feel like semen retention is more than just a practice. It's just like an awareness of it, right? And I feel like the deeper you get into it, it becomes more of a lifestyle, you know? And so like when I first heard of it, it was like more of like seeds planted, right? It was seeds planted, and I started to understand the value of it, right? You start to understand the value of the practice. And then you might do your practices, do your journey, say you do a week here or 2 weeks, and then you say you're off, but then you're still studying it. You know what I mean? Then you do more streaks. Your streaks get longer, and then maybe you relapse again, and then you go another couple weeks where you're not on it, but then you go a longer streak, and then the streaks just keep getting, it's kind of like fasting. You know what I mean? Like fasting for food. And so I would say just each year has created more value for like more value for the practice of semen retention. So like at this point where this year was, I finally hit, like I had been trying to hit 90 days for a while, you know, because I've been going through that cycle where I'm like I told you, I go on a streak for like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then boom, boom, now we reset. And now we reset. And then now you study, and then you do another streak, and you do another streak. And so, you know, recently I had hit over 100 days, and that was really powerful for me because, like I said, each year, each journey, each month, I'm learning more about it, and I understand, and I embrace the benefits of it. But once I did the longer streak, like I'll say, once you get past like 60 days, you really feel, you know what I mean? You feel the difference, right? You feel it. Like you're like, oh, okay, this is what they was talking about. This is what, you know, it's just like an extra little umph. And so I would say just the journey each year, just the compound of knowledge and experience each year and each month helps me value the practice, and has helped me transform it into more of a lifestyle, to where now I see it as something that's on, that it's like something that I'm always on, even if I'm not, right? So say I slip up, boom, boom, and now we release. Say we release, you know, maybe we was intimate, we release. The clock automatically resets. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's not like before it would be like, okay, well, I'll try that again later, you know, and just keep living my life. Now it's more so like, oh, okay, well, I went this long, and then maybe I release, but now we're automatically back on it. Let's go even farther. And it becomes more of a lifestyle, to where you're not having to start from ground zero, right? Because you're not constantly depleting yourself. Because I feel like a part of the semen retention lifestyle is also making it a norm to not constantly deplete yourself. Because society tells you it's a normal to just release. But I feel like part of the semen retention journey is holding on. But even if you slip up, boom, that was just that time. Now you keep going, and you just keep going and building, like making it a normal, making it like something to where you're not even like for liquid, like it's like fasting, you know what I mean? Like if you're going on liquids, eventually, depending on how long you do it, you're not going to be like, I'm fasting. You're just going to be like, this is a lifestyle. This is just a lifestyle. I'm on liquids. And then maybe if you ate, you're like, oh, I ate, but I ain't ate in a couple months. I just wanted to taste this, and now we just back on liquids. It's not that you're back fasting, even though technically you are, but it's more so of a lifestyle. You know what I mean? The eating was more so of the break, or not the break, but like the non-norm. It wasn't the norm. You know what I mean? And so I feel like it's just been like a garden, just been watering and planting each year, each month. I've been gaining more knowledge on it and receiving and feeling the benefits. And so I have made that a very strong intention to become a lifestyle, which it has been. And yeah, it's taken a while, but it's really just that, keeping that garden watered, and you know, it's
Thank you.
integrating the practice into a lifestyle.
Yes, you know, a style of living, you know, a style of living, a lifestyle for real, you know. Thank you for that testimony,
Yeah.
you know, and I know that people need to hear that from you and your experience because, you know, even one of my friends was talking to me and they were telling me about astral hygiene. And I never even knew about these words together, like astral hygiene,
Mm.
like having a clean astral, you know, being in the astral, because you've even developed like some dream control.
Mhm.
You know, if you want to talk about that, like talk about things that might have been visiting your dreams or having dreams and then being able to control yourself in the dream. You know, can you talk on that?
Oh yeah. um yeah, so definitely. And also I felt like this is also a benefit of I had detox too from marijuana too. I had just been everything, all of my little vices that I feel like I had just put on hold and was just allowing the body to reset. But because of the semen retention and the smoke break, I was able to really go more in depth in my dreams. Also, I had a lot of inception moments where I'm like dreaming within a dream. You know what I mean? That those was pretty trippy. The dreams within a dream where you wake up and you still dreaming and then you wake up again and then you're
Yeah,
like
yeah. If you've ever seen the show called Doug, there was a show called Doug that used to come on,
the
and he'd be like,
cartoon?
yeah, the cartoon,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
he'd be like, double dream. He called it a double dream. Doug would have an inception moment. He'd be like, double dream. Like he
Double
thought
dream.
he thought he was awake. He wasn't awake. He was still sleeping. You know.
Dang, I like that name though, Double Dream. So yeah. So as far as like dreaming and being in the astral, I had developed one is like the lucidity of it always develops, especially when you have the intention to develop the lucid dreaming and all of that. And so just from the detox and the SR, it was definitely getting stronger, the lucidity and like being closer and closer to being 100% aware that I'm dreaming, you know, having ideas that I was dreaming, but not really, but still being able to like have more of an anchor in that realm. And then, yeah, as far as like controlling yourself, yeah, I remember like, I don't even know what days. It was like day 30, day 40 or something like that during the semen retention. And I was getting ready to have a wet dream and then my body like locked up. It was like, and I was like, whoa. And I woke up and I was like, because the dreams also start to feel more real the deeper you get to sleep and the better you start to dreaming based off of the detox and your health and stuff. And so like, yeah, the dream felt real. But then, yeah, my body like locked up and woke me up out of the dream. And I was like, wow, that's like, you know, the body is smart, the muscles are smart, but I'm just like, wow, that's like, it's just like symbiotic harmony with your body, mind, and spirit, you know, because my body is like, okay, even the body's like, nah, we got goals. You know what I mean? The body's like, fam.
The body's like, we going somewhere. You know,
Right.
like, the body already got the memo. So what do you know, what did that tell you when you tapped into your body's intelligence, your body and your mind were in unison, working on one accord? You're like a team player, you're working together. Like, how did that influence your relationship with your own body, you know?
um, the body each day, I get more gratitude for the sophistication of the body. The body is like one of the most illest pieces of technology on this planet. You know what I mean? And just the things that the body do on a daily is just amazing. So like that just only increased the gratitude I have, you know, it increased the gratitude I have and the awareness and respect for my body. You know what I mean? Because it's like you got to be respectful and grateful for your body, especially if it's operating at like a very healthy state. You know, you're able-bodied, you're strong, you're youthful, you're healthy. It's doing so much for you that you don't even think about. You know, you're breathing, your heart is beating, your blood is flowing through your veins. Your body's got so many different types of reflexes. You're strong. And so it's just like that just made me, that just increased the gratitude and the honor I have for the body. You know, I really seeing it as this really luxurious like vehicle, you know what I mean? And it's like treating it like that, you know? And so it just made me be like, wow, like, you know, it makes me want to cleanse and clear it so it could even be more upgraded. Like made me want to treat the body even better, you know?
For real, for real. Because, you know, I love how you sent me some videos that I was rocking with where, you know, now they have raps, like people flowing and rapping about acai, you
Yeah,
know, like
yeah,
treating the body, you know, differently, like putting different fuel into the body, you
yeah.
know, putting the gassing up the body with different fuel and not just going for unleaded, you know, going for the premium or
That
going for the,
premium, that
you know
high
what I'm saying?
octane, that high octane.
You know what I'm saying? So it seems like a lot more people are really becoming more conscious of the way that they gas up the tank,
Yeah.
if you want to talk about it like that, or what they're putting into the body, what they're consuming, and the contents of what is coming into the vessel. You know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
People are, because people want to reach their highest potential. People don't want to spend thousands of hours and dollars in the hospital in on meds. People, like I said before, people want to feel better, and then people want to push, people want to live longer, you know what I mean? And so it's like everybody, it don't really matter what it would be that would get us there, but the fact that living healthier is the most organic, natural path to that, and watching what you consume and cutting out all the toxins, like people are like, okay, this is what I'll opt to instead of all that other nonsense. Because honestly, I just think people want to feel better, because people eat certain things and then they don't feel good. People consume other things other than food, like harmful drugs, harmful anything, and then they're not feeling good, and people are just like, I want to feel better. And so now we're at the point where people are not just inspired to feel better, but it's like what we were talking about earlier, people are activated. You know, they're like, okay, I notice when I get this green juice instead of this high C, my cells feel way better and I feel way more hydrated than when I drink this high C fruit punch. Whereas when I get this cold green celery, pineapple, apple juice, you know what I mean? And
Right.
so it's like,
Right. Instead, you know, when I get this cold press instead of when I get this
you're
Kool-Aid,
right.
you
That Kool-Aid, that extra sugar,
know, okay,
it,
cold press Kool-Aid.
right, right. And you know me, your boy just got done with an acai, bro. So you know, you know, I was like, it's funny you said acai, because I was just in an acai 20 minutes before we started this call, and I was like, I had a moment with the acai. I had to.
That's a whole message right there because, you know, we used to watch Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart, you
Yeah,
know, and Ralph Smart was talking about, because I was the one, you know, back in the day, just like you said, Sunrise, like some people don't do well because they don't feel well, you
yeah,
know, like when you feel good, you do good, you act good,
hmm,
you attract good. When you act
hmm,
good, you attract good. Like it all goes hand in hand. And when you put health at the optimum, you know, you bring everything up with it. You know, when health is wealth, it literally, you know,
literally,
can bring abundance, can bring resources. When you feel resourceful, when you feel
right,
powerful, you know, when you feel that vitality running in your veins, in your system.
yeah, that
So
vitality for sure.
so I was the one back in the day when I was wondering, it took me years, bro, decades. I could literally say it took me decades to find the connection between depression and all sorts of different lower states, lower vibrations, lower frequencies, between what I was consuming, what I was actually picking up and putting in my body. And I
Hmm.
was the one in there, you know, on the dollar menu with the hot and the spices and the double cheeseburgers and, you know, this and that. I was at Popeyes getting the two-piece Tuesdays, right? I was at Wild Wings, you know, whatever the deal was, I was sealing
Right.
the deal, right? I was sealing the deal for real. But that was, I was attracting the low states, you know, so I didn't feel so great, you know. I didn't understand that this was the fate that I create. You know,
Right.
these were the steps that I would make.
Yeah.
So when it came into my consciousness, when Ralph Smart told us, because every video, bro, it doesn't matter what video Ralph Smart on Infinite Waters diving deep once again, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Can I get a hello there?
He put all his sound bites in.
Bro, whatever video Ralph was talking about, he would always say 7-day vegan challenge.
He would.
7-day vegan
I'll be
challenge.
like, boy, this is the longest 7-day vegan
7-day
challenge.
vegan.
Every day. Every day,
Every-
7-day vegan challenge.
Every day, bro. He could be talking about something completely different, and 7-day vegan, he would figure out a way to work it in there. 7-day
Right.
vegan challenge. And somebody asked him, you know, they were like, man, like the vegan, it's so expensive. You know, it costs so much to live. If that's living healthy, why does it cost so much? And you know what he said?
What he say? What'd he say?
He said, he almost got irritated. He almost got frustrated. Like,
Ooh.
you know, he always have a smile on his face. So it's rare to see him get frustrated. He was like, deep divers. Do you know the price of a heart attack? And that shut it down. It shut down the conversation. There was no more conversation. You
Yeah,
know?
because that is true. The price of a heart attack, boy.
You know, so that really put it into perspective. So when you said what you said, like, what is the cost? And what price are you willing to pay, you know, to feel that way? So thank you. Thank you for bringing that back in, man. Thank you.
Yes, man. Thank you, man. How you doing? How's everything your way? How's everything good?
We living
Doing
good.
in Texas?
You know, more blessings, less stressings, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We just enjoying the moments, enjoying this
Yeah.
now breath, like you always told us, you know,
Mhm.
remember the breath.
Remember the breath.
Remember
Yes,
the breath.
Yes.
You know, think about what you think about.
Right. Smile
Be here now.
easy.
Be here now.
Right,
So
man.
yeah,
Man.
that's what we're doing. And I just want to thank you always just for making the time, for creating the time to give a testimony, to give an encouraging word, to empower somebody else, and just let people know that, you know, all we need is within. Like, we already have all we need. You know, it's just about making those choices, decisions, commitments to whatever your calling is, and choosing that for yourself.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. No, it's my honor, man. Thank you for always, you know, being like, yo, it's time to go up on the interview. You know, I love get going. You know, we gotta keep doing this. We got so many, and I was looking at this and I'm like, ooh, it's looking good. Even these have evolved, you know, like the iPhones evolving the screen. I'm like, oh, this look like a nice, clear, like FaceTime podcast right here. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, this is nice. And so
It's
yeah, man,
something new
I'm
under the sun. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
it's something new. Hey, something new under the sun. Y'all coming back. I gotta get a new studio, but we're gonna find it. Oh, you know, that just reminded me of those clips. I made those clips. I was meant to send it to you. I was having trouble converting them, but I'm gonna tag you in it. Maybe it'll convert to your phone easier than mine. But yeah, man, I got some new clips. I got them all laid out. I just gotta tag you. I'm gonna add it to the shared document right now. I'm glad you said that. But sometimes they on the phone they download a little interesting. But yeah, man, thank you for always, you know, bringing up the interviews. Thank you for all the interviews you do with everybody, because it'd be dope seeing you tap in with everybody and tap in with the community worldwide. You know what I mean? It's nice, and I appreciate the work.
We gonna keep tapping in until we tap out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we'll keep it rising, and just thank you, brother, you know, for coming on, and till the next time, till the next episode.
Next time I see you on the chessboard.
Yes.
I'll see you on the chessboard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See you there.
Okay, peace, family.
Right.